In this video, I will be showing you how to work with Peardeck. Peardeck is just an add-on to your Google Slides that will help you be able to present. So you can see over here that there are some already pre-made slides you can choose from to click on, such as at the beginning of the lesson. You will have some such as what do you already know about the topic, what did you learn from the homework, or just drag and drop if you're if you're ready to move on or not. And they have a lot of different things. So that was such as the beginning of the lesson, like if you want to do a bell ringer. This is more for like during the lesson, so it'll have some drawing slides. This one's a good example of geography, so drag where you would see this, where you would find an ocean, where you would find a forest, where you would find a desert, such as things like that. This is another good idea for a math class of have them graph it. So we'll add that slide in just to see how our students do. As you can see, it says it's adding, and it's just going to add right on at the end of our lesson. There's also a bunch more, so just drag your lines, make a mind map. This is another good example of how it's not just for like geography, math, science. You can also do this for languages. This one is draw, I don't speak Spanish, but I believe this says circle the correct choice of the girl in the red dress, or who's wearing red, or something along those lines. They would circle her if that was the case, if that is actually what it says. Or another good one of drag and drop, of do you agree with this statement, do you not agree with this statement. And it's really nice at the bottom. You can see that it says if it's a drawing slide, they're all drawing slides at the moment. If it's multiple choice, draggable, multiple choice, or these are just some text slides. For the end of the lesson, well, I'm adding a new template, but this one is what's the most important thing you've learned from the lesson today. Some others include pretend that your friend was absent from class today and have to explain it to them, what you've learned, and how you're feeling at the end, which I think is really important to gather if students are feeling okay about the lesson and if they're not. Some other cool things you can do is you can ask questions at the bottom, such as ABCs. So we're going to go ahead and add that to the think portion of my slide. So it's going to add, and then you can see down at the bottom, it says students will write their response. So on the student side of this, it'll show up and have them answer the question. We can't see that right now as we are only making this, and we haven't had students join our class just yet. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing with our pair slide. We're going to ask students to answer their question about it. And then the share portion, we are not going to ask them to add that because I want them to be able to talk about that aloud to the class. And then this one, we will see students draw what they think y equals x plus 2 should look like. And then at the end, we will have them write what they thought was the most important thing from today's lesson. So we're going to go ahead and click Present with Peardeck. It's going to load. And this is our code for the students. This is the website they are going to go to. They're going to type in joinpd.com and then type in this, and it gives you a nice little acronym at the bottom of new submarines raise fragrant avocados. And we will have students join that. So now we can see that it says we have one student connected, and we're going to go ahead and start the class. So I asked them, what are 5 words you think describes you? And we are going to give them a minute to answer that. And then you can see here down at the bottom, it says 1 of 1 responses. So we are going to ask to show the responses. So on here we can see that it says they think they are crazy, weird, lazy, smart, and cool. So they think they're a whole bunch of different things. The only drawback to Peardeck is when you are on the simplistic version and you don't pay for the full version, you can't see which student has submitted each work. You just know they've turned it in or not. So thankfully, for our class, we know there's only one student, so we know who has turned it in, but in other settings, we won't know that. Another nice feature is that when you are presenting, you still have the code up in this little box, so if students come to class late, they can still join your presentation without being too far behind. So that was that slide, and then we're gonna go to the pair slide, but it's the same thing. And then share, we would have them share out loud with the teacher of what they thought, and then have explain their partner if they want. So for this one, we're going to have them graph y equals x plus 2. So we're going to give them a minute to graph what they think x plus 2 looks like. And then we can see once again that it says we have a response, and we're going to ask to show a response. So the student is correct in a way. This is what it would look like. This is a very large scale of 30 to 30, so it would approximately be somewhat smaller. So they have the right idea, but they are wrong in that sense. Another nice thing is you can lock the screen so the student is unable to see more. So if I have it locked and I switch slides, the student, well, it's only locked on this slide, so the students can't submit more than one work. So I will unlock the screen and have them change it if they want. And as you can see, they did change it. Now they're super incorrect, but it's fine. And then we're going to go on to the last one, which just says, what is the most important thing you've learned from the lesson today? And we're going to give them a couple seconds to answer that. Once again, you can see that the responses are there. I'm going to see the response, and I can see that it says what they have said. So that's some really nice things about Peardeck. For the time, I'm going to end the session, and it's really nice because I can name the session. So we'll call this grade 3 English. And I'm going to save and end session. I'll grant it permission because I didn't do that beforehand. Yeah. So it would save to my Google Docs, so I would be able to go back through as a teacher later and see what I had saved and what my students had said, so I would be able to know what they have said, which is really nice to be able to go back and look at that for future reference.